They're pushing the teams around them back.
Oh, here we go. Kratos going to be eating bullets there from Viper as Viper just switches out the DP28 for the AK. However, we've lost what we were watching before. But there we can see on the peripheral vision, Kratos is down and out. Team IND lose a player early from the fan favorites, which you can probably hear. Oh my goodness, which is so, but more players as well going down. INS Joker's out of the picture. Brawlers as well are losing players like flies.
Scout OP popping up. The crowd is going wild for the two fan favorites. That is Soul and Fnatic. They have a new lease of life.
Oh, unfortunately though, ETG could do with a new lease of life as the Brawlers are struggling in the finals so far. Once again, it seems like another poor performance here on day 2.
So Fnatic, they find themselves in a good position, but it's going to be tough for them rotating into the next phase, into the next circle. Of course, we'll talk about that godlike. They're going a little bit further, getting away from Soul. I like that, Alex.
Synergy chilling right now towards the top of the circle, but who isn't chilling is Entity. Jonathan versus Smokey gets the kill as well. Trigger is down though, unfortunately, for Team INS, and it seems like it's all going to go in favor of INS as Jonathan wins yet another duel. And is that INS out in 14th? There is indeed. Excuse me, 15th. Apologies. But still, the remark stands the test of time. They are out early.
So we saw this next phase. It is indeed phase 4, shifting more central, a little bit to the east-southeast. The edge of Quarry is a location that one of these teams can hold on to. With Quarry, you only really have 2 solid locations, north and south side of it. The south side is out of the circle, so one of these teams, Nepali Honi, grab hold of that high ground on the north side. Yes, you're putting yourself into a bit of a single-minded situation if the circle goes away from you in phase 5. Before now, it would be a solid location for one of these teams with plenty of space around them.
Ronak there on the bottom left-hand side of our screen spots out one of the players. It is Mafia from Godlike. In the midst of all this, though, one of the players from 0 Degree is down. So action happening across the plains here. Mortal. Oh dear, he's down and out. Cloak from Mayhem manages to finish the job off versus him, and Saga as well is finished by the grenade of Surya. More kills coming in there. Let's see, Vampire just going to be shooting into the blades of grass, maybe laying out his frustration for being 16th.
Okay, so losing Mortal is not the worst thing in the world for Soul. You still have Clutch God. We saw him pop off, and another couple of members of Soul ready to carry on the torch. They are inside the circle, but look at this.
Oh, look at this. Mafia trying to dodge, dart, and weave around the building, but he's instantly going to be down by the Uzi of Oasis, and it's going to be an easy cleanup there for him, shooting some more bullets into the body as well, just rubbing salt into the wounds. As Brawlers as well lose another player. Only one remaining. Only none remaining now for Brawlers as they're out in 14th. Again, Imperium, this is bad.
I'm not going to talk about it too much. You're going to wait till later because there's quite a few teams in around the southern part of the circle. You have Elementrix, you have Fnatic, you have Godlike and Mayhem chasing down Soul.
Oh, they already took out Mortal. Maybe they're going to go for more as... Ooh, it's KK has a very strange angle here. He's just going to ditch here, using the vehicle to the left to dodge Viper, but maybe underneath the car, Viper could spot out his toes. Maybe the cover isn't too long. Oh, the grenade instead is perfect. It's KK down by Viper, and with that, Soul are going to make their move in. Regaltos is going to be leading the charge here for Soul as he goes over the top of the hill. 2 of the players from Mayhem are down. It's just Reds and Viper. Spray coming out, 1 down, all down to Reds. They need to do some damage here. It's all going in favor of Soul, and they wipe out Mayhem in 13.
I want to break that down real quickly. Regaltos crouched down, used the peak to his advantage, but more importantly, he moved. He weaved from left to right like a boxer. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Regaltos was on top of his game in that team fight. So, like I said, with Fnatic, having a new lease of life in this first game of the day.
Throwing out some more Muhammad Ali quotes. Don't count the days, make the days count. And right now, some of these teams are going to have to, especially RIP Official, who are currently topping the board. They need that consistency. We can't see them slip on day 2.
Exactly, and then look at Elementrix. They stayed fairly quiet right now, but the circle shifts heavily to the east. Nepali Honi, they went a little bit further ahead of the north area of Quarry, and it's paid off right now. They need to hold on to it. They have trust the process to the east side. And all of a sudden, from the team shifting on the southwest, we actually need to focus on Megastars, Trust the Process. The final member is 0 Degrees, and of course, even Entity rolling in, depending on how they rotate in.
Lots of action as well towards the bottom left of our screens, which we're witnessing right now between Fnatic and, of course, Godlike. Regaltos is down as well. I'm not sure where Seoul are. They're towards the top left, actually, near Synergy and IND as well. IND actually losing a player early. Missed that one. So, in terms of kills and numbers on the board, Elementrix, Rip Official, and Fnatic with 4. Apart from that, everyone else has lost players.
Yeah, it's great to see Soul and Fnatic on top of the kill feed for now. Yesterday, they looked a little bit passive and not as strong as we've seen previously in previous tournaments, but let's see what day 2 can bring. The 0 Degrees final member trying to find out Megastars.
Yeah, 1 man versus 4, but 2 of them are down. But you can see as well, TDP just going to be stealing those kill points and killing and finishing off all of these players who are down. Felt like all the work there that Blazy did, just not going to be commissioned in his name. Ghostwriter's out here, it seems.
Trust the Process, we just lost him once again going down in 12th. I talked to them as well, and I'll obviously touch into that in game 2 because this action is heating up 20 minutes in.
20 minutes in. Phase 5. Players going down left, right, and center. IND losing players. Megastar losing players. Jonathan, one of the star players of this whole tournament, is down as well. They need to bring him back up.
Entity, they have the really central west line on the edge of the circle. Soul to the north of them. You also have the members of Elementrix to the south of them. If they can keep their position strong and push teams around them back, it could be looking good for Entity.
IND Slayer, the VSS, can see the players from Seoul. However, Seoul are inside the circle currently, or excuse me, the blue zone, so they can try and wait this one out just for a little bit.
We see the Pali Honi really connect, and they've eliminated Megastars. Oh my lord, the Nepali team looking pretty good. And then we see Poo Poo Man connecting onto a member of Fnatic.
Wait,
that was
what?
always going to be tough.
Ronak just killed himself with
What?
the grenades? Maybe he was downed when he was throwing it? Must have been that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't see any assists in. IND Slayer as well will die to the zone when he was just waiting for Soul to move.
Let's see what can happen as Godlike do go down.
Godlike go out in 10th. A man, though, more like a machine as he takes down Regaltos. That might actually be Soul. Out, no, they've still got one more player left, which is going to be Viper. Usually it was Clutch God from yesterday.
And he's in the center of the circle. It goes in his favor. He prayed to the PUBG Mobile gods. Now he just needs to stay safe and prone down.
Oh, someone who can't stay safe and prone is going to be RNG, as he's going to be taken out by Paratosh of Fnatic, who have 3 players remaining. Junior, Poopy Man, and Mr. Hyozo as well from Elementrix are safe and sound for now.
But Fnatic, they need to be very careful. They do look competent and confident of their position and holding on to it. Nepali Honi go in with the vehicle.
Nepali Honi instantly into the prone, but an easy shot there for Paratosh as he just lines up the bullets with ease. Oasis will out of the van and into the grave does go Lucky.
And that's really good because they have a second vehicle as cover. And that's really important. And that's a gift for Fnatic. But what can Alex YT do for the Nepali Honi?
Oh, apparently landed an amazing grenade onto 2 of the players from Fnatic, but Scout knows where he is. This is all or nothing here for Scout. He has to win the duel right now versus Alex, as you said, jumps over with a hipfire spray, and he does it. This could be keeping Fnatic into the game to the latter stages. Ooh, one of the players from Nepali Oni would have heard that action.
And that was actually really bad play from Nepali, but let's kick it off.
Oh, it's actually going to be Scout to win it. We didn't see it, unfortunately, but it must have been an amazing headshot.
I don't know, but it was great play by Fnatic and, of course, Scout OP. My lord, are we seeing a new team, so to speak? Metaphorically speaking, can he get the revive?
Let's see then. Goes for the revive. He has cover as well from 2 vehicles. IND have no cover as it's been blown out in 7th. And with that, only 1 player remaining for Seoul. It's Viper, Synergy down to 1. Fnatic going to be reviving up their second player. Elementrix 3, Entity 3. Rip Official, RIP, excuse me, on 4.
And Nepali Honi distracting Fnatic, that's actually worked out pretty well for Elementrix and Entity because they've kind of kept at their own feet. And you see Jonathan from Entity really kind of using the dip to his advantage. He has a boogie if he does need to disengage, although that's always risky at this stage of the game.
Viper, he needs to sting. RIP Official here. Is it Sky and Naruto? He spots out both the players on the third person view. Goes for the spray onto 1. can't get it, though. A very effective trade there from RIP. And now they can wait, see if there's more action, revive Naruto behind the car, and they're going to be safe and sound for now. But look at Servi. Look at Servi behind the plays. He's just crawling. If he just pushes forward, he has the advantage with the hill. He can shoot down onto them, but right now exchanging with Tempest.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Servi, but I was expecting Viper to dance around that rock a little bit more, but he stayed in a position, and it made it a lot easier for Rit to get the better of them. Yes, Servi, he does have it for now, but the second he has to exit that, he has to go downhill. The best thing Servi can do is just wait and look to heal off because he doesn't have a lot of bandages, but he does have one make it.
The Kings of Consistency are out in 5th. Legend, though, needs to become one. Instead, he will just go out quickly to the players from Elementrix Sky, trying to maybe avenge his brethren, but you can see as soon as he died, just 180'd and went around the other way. Doesn't want to exchange just yet with Elementrix.
So we see RIP Naruto thrown out a Molotov. That's just to push Elementrix away and give RIP a bit more space. For Servi, he's moved in across the road.
He has. Actually, it's all down to Sky with the DP28. He will be backed up by his teammates as well. Tempest helped out Sky, and it's going to be Synergy out in 4th. Now it's just down to RIP official Fnatic and Elementrix.
So Fnatic scout up. He has been knocked down, but Paradox just get taken out by Junior and Elementrix into the top 2.
Fnatic are out in 3rd. One team versus another. Let's see then. Elementrix versus RIP. It's going to be a 3 versus 3 as Poo Poo Man Jr., Hyozo start to push in slowly behind the smoke grenade. Tempest as well stands up, tries to spot out where they are. Naruto healing up. He's now on some more HP. Grenade goes in, but it's going to be missed, unfortunately, for RIP.
Real quick, I'd love to see Sky get in the vehicle and actually rotate around with it and use that as protection. It will distract Elementrix and Tempest. Naruto can go out, but he gets knocked down.
Oh, knocked down indeed. Junior now with 2 of them from the DP28 as he goes for more. As Tempest tries to heal here, he's got 5 seconds to do it. It's all really down to him as Sky goes down, and this should be it. This should be the win for Elementrix as they're going to come over the hill. Tempest is going to go down, and that's it. Elementrix they win, and they take game 1.
So RIP, they've done such a good job for the majority of that game. Remember what I said, Sky should have gotten into that vehicle. RIP were just a little bit too passive in the end. They should have been a bit more engaging. We've seen them being aggressive. They were aggressive up until that point. But when you're too much in a linear line, you don't give yourself the vision and you don't give yourself your team the awareness of how to actually get the better of your opponents. Whereas when you looked at Elementrix, they were basically kind of north, central, and south, which gave them a blanket to really be more aggressive onto RIP. But great job by both teams, game 1 of the day.
Yeah, the Nepal team doing damage and doing work. INS here just chilling for now.
Of course, Elementrix, they were in 7th place at the end of the 6 games yesterday. It is going to be their first chicken dinner of the final stages in the Pmco South Asia finals. It will give them a good bump up in the standings because, like I said, it's so close between these 2 teams. I want to mention Fnatic looking a lot better today. Fnatic especially very dangerous looking on their engagements. We saw them dealing with Nepali Honi quite easily, although in saying that, Nepali Honi kind of made a couple of mistakes. They should have been rotating in as a team rather than 1 by 1 by 1 or as a 2-1 at that stage of the game, but still Nepali Honi putting in a good result. So let's see how they can build upon that. They have the support of the fans. They just need to help them lift it up to next level.
Also, we didn't even really touch upon Entity the whole entire game, but they go out in a silent 5th, and they're going to be collecting more and more points. This is exactly what we saw in the play-ins in day 1 as well. They are the Kings of Consistency yet again, and yet again, ETG Brawlers looking rough as they were out in 13th.
And yeah, like talking about Entity a little bit, like I said during the game, they were playing a different kind of play style compared to yesterday, predominantly holding on to the edge of the circle. And I gotta say, they dealt with it pretty well. They ended up more towards the west side, which means their rotations towards the edge of the circle were not linear. They were thinking in terms of, okay, we don't want to go straight into the edge of the circle. We want to go around and really get more scope and awareness of where the other players in the teams are. It just didn't work out in the end in terms of getting a higher result.
Think about RIP as well. They were dropping towards Pachinki. They changed it around this time to go towards southern
Crosswalk,
Georgia.
I think?
No, Georgia Paul.
Georgia Paul.
And then suddenly the circle just lands spot on for them, and they made such good use of it, getting into the strong compound early, and basically just playing the long game, paying its dividends, going out in second, but it's the points that matter. It's all about the guts and glory of finishing number 1.
Of course, and that's actually one thing. Elementrix held onto their compound for pretty much... I would love to see the actual distance they traveled in that game alone. I'd say it was little to nothing because they didn't have to, but they also dealt with their position very effectively. And looking into the highlights, Orb Official, 0 degree, they took him out early on.
They took him out early on, but let's hear what Jason and the rest of the guys in the desk have to say, because whew, that was an action-packed game.
Thank you, Alex. I love how you point out my name and not theirs. I actually love that because it boosts my ego up, and I definitely need it today. Just like Elementrix needed that chicken dinner, and you know what? They took that one for themselves. They still had to contend up against RIP Official, the team we were talking about quite a bit, comparing their day 1 stats to their play-in stats in total, and RIP still showed up. But let's talk about Elementrix first.
Yeah, Elementrix stole that from RIP straight up. I love the aggressive play. They were able to take away the position of RIP, despite the fact that RIP had a really good position down that hill. They had that little trench. It was Elementrix with that aggressive play really sealing their fates.
The classic RIP dip is what they had, like they had the previous day. Elementrix, though, they came into today in 7th place. So with this win, with this chicken dinner in their bag, they should be looking good moving forward.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate the rip dip potato chip didn't really work out in their favor this time, because you know what I saw? I saw them playing it passive. Normally when we look at RIP, what they do is sort of they peak constantly up and down and taking fights one after the other. This time they sort of just stayed underneath and hoping to get lucky in terms of the pickoffs, which didn't work out in their favor. Aside from that, we saw a lot of questionable plays from other teams as well. It was really confusing. There were some weird plays like Clutch God just sort of taking that vehicle and driving all the way around and getting picked off. So there were some iffy things today.
Well, you can see our standings from that last game as well. Elementrix able to net themselves 10 kills before finishing off the game. Even RIP Official getting 8. But the real story for me is team number 3. It's Fnatic. That was a team that struggled completely on day 1. And for the first time on our angle, we saw them come off the island with a full squad of 4.
I'll tell you why. For the first time, they survived with 4 players coming out of military base, and at the same time, IND didn't go and camp them. Because normally what happens is IND, they'll camp that ferry pier area, that lighthouse area on the west side of the bridge, but they didn't do that today, instead going earlier to the circle, and Fnatic just had free reign to just go into the circle with 4 complete members.
Yeah, so they made it to the mainland, like you mentioned, with 4 alive, and then after that, they were just proactive. Every time the circle would pop, they would immediately have those vehicles ready to go. It was around circle number 5. They already had 6 kills. They were playing the edge here, were gatekeeping godlike, and there was one point during the game that things were looking kind of dicey for Fnatic. It came down to a 1v2 at the shed with Scout OP. Scout was able to get the secure, and not only that, we saw the 1v1 in the shed, you can recall, right?
Yeah.
And then, what?
There were so many good plays from the members of Fnatic this time, even especially Oace, rather. He was
fragging out.
Yeah, he was fragging out. He got that spray down onto that vehicle. They actually blew up a couple members.
Oh, yeah, that was early on,
That
too.
was really nice. So Fnatic actually not just showing intelligent play, but also good amount of firepower in this game.
And then after that fight with Scout OP, he was able to revive Paratosh. So it was very important. That's why we see them in 3rd place.
Yeah, we were talking about that backstage, like, oh, he gave up his teammates. Apparently not. Paratosh actually was able to be revived, so good on him. But a couple of other teams here that we do want to talk about. ETG Brawlers, once again, coming out of the bottom. And I want to point out why. I think we can linger on this for a second. They really tried to play out of the circle. And the thing is, every other team wanted to play outside of the circle as well. If I'm not mistaken, the only team really around Phase 4, Phase 5 that really took center circle was RIP.
Yep.
Everybody else was playing outer circle, and that's exactly what ETG Brawlers tried to do and got punished for it.
That was my fear, especially after we saw or heard their interview yesterday. They were saying that they were going to play the edge, and yesterday, a lot of teams were playing center. As we saw in game number 1, a lot of teams are playing edge. So the Brawlers are not the only squad coming into today with the new game plan. And here are the circles to kind of back up that stat.
Yeah, see, look at it. There's only one team, RIP, who's playing center. Everybody else wanted to play outer circle, and that made life so much difficult for basically everybody, to be honest. Teams like INS got caught off early as well, who normally like to play outside the circle. So when you have teams that play outside the circle, and everybody's now playing outside the circle, the teams that usually play outside will have a harder time. Surprisingly, Entity, despite the fact that they play outside, they still had a really good game.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about. We saw Viper there, the last Seoul, remember, from Seoul. After circle number 5, they were looking pretty good. They were defending their compound. They got a couple kills on some members that tried to pull up. I was feeling them. I mean, of course, the circles didn't favor them 2 times in a row, but there was one point that they were all just kind of in vehicles going all different sorts of directions.
That was very confusing to me, and I think that's a great point, simply for the fact that they had position and they could have had a good game. But at one point, they sort of split up. It was, if I'm not mistaken, Clutch God, who just
all the way south.
Took a vehicle, went all the way south, despite the fact that Viper was already dead center, and I think Regaltos had position on the outside.
Stayed back, yeah, they stayed back. Maybe trying to protect from the backstabs, possibly, but we just need to see the squad stay together. That's what I want to see.
I'm hoping to see that too. But speaking of late rotates, you know who had a really good late rotate? RIP. They had the 2-2 split coming in the end, able to really isolate teams, which allowed them to control the entire north and northeast side of the remaining circle.
Not gonna lie though, circle number 6, they had 4 alive. Elementrix had 3 alive up there on the high ground. They spread out too thin. They sent 2 down south across the road to the Shek. We saw they took out Viper. But then they sent 1-1 up there in the north, and one of their members ran into Elementrix, who were 3 all huddled together. They lost 1. I feel like if RIP could have came into the final zones with 4 alive, they would have gotten the chicken dinner in this game.
Well, you know what? I'm going to change subjects a little bit and go back to what you guys are talking about with Seoul, because we actually have a nice little clip from them when they were up against Mayhem there. And it actually kind of surprised to see them hitting a couple of really good shots, able to catch them off guard completely. And I'll just try to walk us through this.
This is sort of the time when there was, I think, a crossfire between like 4 teams in the same area. And Mayhem looked in really good position, actually. They were getting the nade damage in. But look at this flank coming here from Viper, effectively isolating the members of MYM and making it so difficult, confusing its KK, who had a good angle on some of the members of Seoul. But because of this fact that Viper split up, made life difficult for MYM so much.
Yeah, we see Viper in the yellows providing that cover fire. Regaltos, the fragger, the front line just popping up over here, taking shots with the AKM. And not only that, we had Clutch God all the way over there to the left-hand side, holding those off angles, making sure Regaltos was safe when they made that push.
What I love about this play from Regaltos is that he never overcommit to a fight. He knew his teammates were backing him up. He got the backup from like Viper, watching from his back all the way
on the right, and then the
side.
support from Clutch God on the left.
Exactly, and that just left Regaltos the ability to sort of just peek and hide and peek and hide and peek and hide.
That was clean.
Taking down like 3 members. And that was the kind of thing we need to see from Seoul going into this tournament.
I do want to point out, though, that was also with Mortal Dead, so that was like a 3-on-4, and they still came out ahead in that one with a nice little nade open things up. But you know what? It's time to take a look at how the overall settings have changed after game number 1 of day 2, match number 7 overall. And Entity, of course, still maintaining that first place position, but you're seeing Elementrix are starting to sneak up there. I believe they were in 7th place before this, and now tucked in at number 3.
Yeah, and then RIP, the RIP official, they actually went up to 2nd place after that game. They were in 3rd coming into today. 0 Degree dropping down a couple pegs. They were in 2nd place coming into today. So
can I jump in really quick before you continue? 0 Degree, we saw in the prelims. Day 1, they did exceptionally well. They were within top 5. But then as day 2 came around, they started to slip. And I'm getting maybe a little bit worried for them if that's going to be the same kind of thing happening today, the same kind of trend.
Well, they were kind of caught off guard this game. It was very early on. It was circle number 1. Orb, if you can recall, they had a little fight at the Shacks. They lost 2 members from both sides, all right? They lost 2 members. And then we saw Max and Mazik pull up with the buggy. At first, I was kind of questioning, like, why would they even pull up onto this? But it's because there's only 2 members left from 0 Degree, so I kind of get it. But it just all went downhill from there. I believe it was 0 Degree that came out victorious from that fight, but almost immediately after that, since they only had 2 members alive because the other 2 kind of got killed in the process, got third-partied, that they just couldn't continue to survive any longer in these circles.
I do want to point out Entity Gaming, their points, 134, they are actually 41 points ahead of second place. So they're really racking it up despite not getting that many chicken dinners. They are getting placements. They are getting kills. They have far more kills than anybody else. They're sitting at 56. Just going to show how devastating their aggressive playstyle is. Actually, just a quick trivia. I did have a chat with one of the members of Entity Gaming earlier, one of their coach, their manager actually, who said straight up, everybody should be afraid of Entity Gaming right now, and for very, very good reason.
Yeah, especially after yesterday's interview, right? They went from having 2 supports, 2 fraggers, to now with the confidence, the Chicken Dinners, 4 fraggers.
I'd be afraid of all 4 of them. I mean, the thing is, these players, Aman and Jonathan, I want to point them out especially. They came into this tournament and not a lot of supporters coming from them, but with that chip on their shoulder, I think that they were able to make a lot of progress, showing a lot of growth within the couple months that they've been playing, and really now they're known as some of the best fraggers in the game.
Yeah, so we saw, RIP, RIP, they did get second there. I'm not too worried about them. I mean, Erangel has been their best map so far. I believe we are going to be heading into Sandhawk next match.
I do want to point out one thing, though. If you look at the kills to placement points, 0 to green. The only team in the top 8 with more kills than placement points. And I wonder if they can kind of round out their game, keep the kill pace going, and then get the placements in there as well. I think we could have a new contender for first place.
Very similar to Entity, actually. They play a lot like Entity. They play on the outsides and they go for those engaged. A lot of the time they are successful at it, but then they suffer from a problem when it comes to late game. They're never able to close out that late game, whether it's decision making, whether it's positioning. They just sort of fail to do that, as opposed to Entity, who really lock down that late game.
Yeah, and here is the 9 through 16. I'm trying to check it out. Coming into today, Seoul had 20 kills, 27 placement points. So they're definitely, racking up some of these points. Trust the process. We didn't see very much action from them this game. They did get a chicken dinner yesterday. Like we mentioned, Brawlers down there, Orb Official, Godlike. And then, you hate to see it, Mayhem. Things just are not working out for the team here.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but for them, they still have quite a few more games to come up. But for now, I think we're going to take a short little break here on the desk. But who's not taking a break? It's going to be Xerxes, who has Elementrix to talk to them about their last victory.
This is day 2 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2019 South Asia Regional Finals. Title sponsor Vivo, and with me I have Elementrix, your very first chicken dinner in the finals, and now you're in position number 3 on the overall tables. How did you make this comeback on the first match of day 2? Which one's gonna go?
So the plan was pretty simple. So we had to collect some points. We were just 2nd, 4th, 5th, and last 6 match, and we just need a chicken dinner. So we had a team talk and just need aggression from assaulters and everything. And we just had a team talk, and yeah, they performed pretty well today.
So are we gonna expect more of this same strategy in the coming games, or is there going to be a continuously evolving strategy throughout the day today?
We're gonna change, of course, because it's there's still 11 matches remaining, and we don't want to get, it will be predictable to other teams. So we don't want to, we want to change the strategy as much as we can, but in our comfort zone, and yeah, hopefully get chicken dinner again.
And we also have the MVP from the team, Poo Poo Man. How was it like? It's just so funny even calling out your name. What was the strategy there? Did you guys plan for this? Were you always the assault, or what was it going to be?
Sorry.
You are the MVP, right? So did you aim to go for that, or what just happened? Were you the assault in charge for the team, or were you going to stay support and it's just the opportunity presented itself?
No, I'm not a center, but I tried to support.
Okay, you let your gun do the talking. This just goes to show that despite having a very okay day 1, just one chicken dinner changed the entire thing, and we have so many more games left to go. So we're going to go into a break, and we're going to come back with match 2 on day 2 of the finals.
Welcome to the fury of the wasteland. In Season 10, PUBG Mobile is bringing in even more items, modes, and content to help players survive in the harsh post-apocalyptic world. For those who need to expand their armory, look no further than the new MP5K, a SMG that replaces the Vector in Venkendi after the update. It can be equipped with all attachments, including stocks, foregrips, mags, and scopes, and supports single shot, burst, and full auto firing modes. This weapon is very versatile and is suitable for short and mid-range combat. It is a must-have for assaults and street firefights. Another update is the addition of SEMA, which replaces the armored UAZ in
Welcome back to the Pmco South Asia Regional Finals. We had our first game of the day now put into the history books as we move through on to Sandhawk for game number 2 of today. And of course, we have to talk about a couple different teams. But more importantly, we need to look at necessarily the top players throughout the entirety of the finals as well, because we've had a couple of them really stand out. Dark, for me, really stood out when it came to the prelims. But I want to think, who do you guys think is going to be in the top? I'm going to guess you're going to say Inosh Joker.
Well, I was, but
You
no,
were.
no. He's
But now
one
you
of my
can see
top.
the
I was going to say Jonathan, in all
Jonathan.
fairness. I was going to definitely call out Jonathan. Second place so far, 17 kills, 3,222 damage.
Well, that's insane. But my call, actually, overall, lately, I've been very impressed by how Regaldos has been playing. He's been getting clutches time and time again, 1v2, 1v3, just showing, like, I mean, when you talk about Seoul, it's not normally Regaldos who comes in first, but he's been having one of the best performances of all of his teammates.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's hard not to notice we got 3 members from Entity Gaming up here on the leaderboard, 4 top fraggers. That shouldn't be a surprise.
Well, it's kind of cheating, isn't it? They're destroying everybody, so I guess anybody...
I think it's earned. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is earned.
Cheating,
It is earned.
Skill.
It's definitely 100% deserved, but they're taking all the spotlight from everybody. That's actually insane.
Well, they're definitely fighting for it. They're definitely doing a fantastic job of it as well. But of course, that should change over the course of today. If it doesn't, then hey, NC, they're probably going to be our #1 team to come through the regional finals to go into the global finals. But you know what, guys? Did you see what happened just last night? Were you guys paying attention to Twitter? Did you see the PUBG Mobile Twitter account?
Yeah,
There's a new update.
2.
There's a new release. A couple of things coming in. The Fury of the Wastelands, a little bit of a Season 10 Royale Pass, and obviously a lot of new skins come into us, even a brand new grenade skin. So I'm going to probably head home after this and pick it up.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get them to get me that hat that we see the girl rocking over there, little goggles, the aviator cap. I'm going to try to wear it on tomorrow's desk.
I was thinking the short shorts would suit you better, but...
Well, I already have those on. You just can't see because of the
enough.
desk height.
I want the motorcycle, actually. Just give me that. I will sit on it and host from here. But of course, besides just the cosmetics, there is a new team deathmatch map as well, the Ruins. So you know what? I'm calling it out right now. 1v2. I'll take you guys on.
Okay, cool. You do
You're
stick out like a
probably
sore
gonna
thumb.
I'm probably going to lose?
Yeah, because you're going to see me on the map. I'm going to be sliding all over the place, just happen away at
Well, you
your
know what?
face.
You're all talk right now, Mustache Dave. We'll throw that down when we get back to the hotel. But this is going to be exciting. Obviously, make sure to pick that up. You guys in the audience, you can even do it now if you have the data available. And now moving into, what was that? Yeah? Make sure you have the
Hopefully they
data
have the
available.
data
I don't want you guys to
available,
get extra charge, your roaming charges or whatever. But
If it
anyways,
is contact Jason, he'll pay for the extra fee.
No, I won't. No, I won't. Not at all. But you know what? Let's take a look at now Sandhawk come into this. The last time we saw this yesterday, I'm going to ask you, Dave. You know who won already. Your team, your boys.
Trust the process.
Yeah, they did. They did 100%, and they actually landed boot camp and had a great start. Do you think we're going to see them have another great map here? Because I know ETG Brawlers struggle on this.
I mean, you're asking about trust the process, if they're going to have a great time?
They're going to have a great game again.
They need to. If they want to come up here and be a heavy hitter moving into tomorrow, this is their best map so far when it comes to the stats looking back at it, so I can only hope so.
Well, we're going to find out if Trusted Process can, well, in fact, trust their process and hopefully take themselves another chicken dinner throughout today. But we're going to head back to our commentary as we kick off game number 2. Alex Byfield at Imperium, take it away.
Day 2, Game 2, it's Sandhawk Imperium.
Oh yeah, the jungle map that always provides a lot of little surprises for us. Looking at these teams going in, of course, Elementrix took game 1 on a wrangle, showing up a strong performance. Fnatic and Soul also lifting up their spirits, and RIP coming in with a cheeky second place finish.
Did. What's impressive as well was the pace of the last match, and that was a wrangle. Here we are on Sandhawk, notoriously the fastest map we have, so we're going to be in for a treat.
And now looking at this map and looking how this playing trajectory is, like I said previously, look, Sandhawk, unless that playing trajectory is super aggressively on one side, which it isn't in this case, the team can generally get to where they want to. We will see Trusted Process heading to boot camp as per usual, Elementrix heading towards Ruins, and of course the Pony heading down towards the docks for this phase 1 circle.
What's been surprising as well is we don't see too many teams landing towards Camp Alpha or towards Hatin on the western island there. Obviously it can make it quite difficult and monotonous to try and cross the bridges there if we see teams like Elementrix or Megastars controlling those vantage points.
And I do think we're at a point, especially in Sandhawk, because it is a smaller map, but even in general, we are getting to the point where all of these teams know where each other are landing. So we are getting a bit of the dust is settling, so to speak. So now they get to focus on their own gameplay, their own rotations, and their own movements throughout this map. But like I said with Sandhawk, because third partying is such a strong element of the game and such a strong element of the map, it can make it harder to navigate your way around it. Let's see what phase 1 does bring for us, though.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, third partying being paramount here on this map. Teams on a smaller map are going to be closer together. Because of that, they're going to see and hear the action and know when to go in.
So now we do see, of course, you know, we're always going to find that the leaderboards, unless we get deja vu and it's the same performances and results each game, these leaderboards are constantly going to be changing. And even though Soul is still in 9th place overall with a much better performance in game 7 and the first game of the day, it has put them a lot closer in point standings, below 8th place and of course 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th. And for the teams that are in the top 2, top 3 and even top 5, what's most important, Alex, is that they get as much of a point buff against the teams behind them.
Yeah, exactly. You want that buffering to give you some relief on that final day. IND, though, not relieving Camp Alpha or Hatin. As soon as the circle went towards the top western side, we saw Kratos instantly cross the river, scout out to see if any teams had landed there. Most likely not, because of how unlikely we've seen it so far in this event. However, if it does go towards Camp Alpha, the earliest you can get there into the strongest compounds going to be extremely important.
And this is a tough phase 1 circle for these teams because it's not northeast enough that it's guaranteed to be in that little island area on the north, but it's not obviously south enough that it's guaranteed to be in the mainland. So these teams have to make a decision. I'll tell you who else has to make a decision. Of course, Ronak and Fnatic trying to make a decision to connect onto Megastars.
Yeah, it's really difficult this early on into the game. We're only 3 minutes into the inception of Sandhawk, and with that, teams haven't had the time to loot up all of the compounds, all of the buildings, to get those 4x scopes, those holographic scopes. So these ranged duels are even more awkward.
But that's where controlling your recoil, controlling your aim, and of course having a strong grasp and knowledge of your loadout makes it that little bit better for these more experienced teams and makes yourself essentially more accurate. So, you know, you don't need to rely on the scope. You don't need to rely on the attack stock or all the attachments. You can just get the job done with the basic loadout.
It's also about controlling your emotions. And for me, ETG Brawlers, ETG Brawlers are the ones that really have to keep their psyche in check. We keep seeing them going out 13th, 14th, or 15th for multiple of the games here. We're in the 8th one here in front of our eyes. If we see a similar affair, this could be them written off immediately.
It could, if they don't pick it up in this game onwards, or if they leave it until, let's say, the last day, you're just really not helping yourself. And of course, like you mentioned, that psyche, that mentality, it's like a snowball effect. Because it's so much easier for us as humans to think negatively than to think positively. So when it's going downhill for you, you're going to just spin out of control a lot quicker and a lot faster. So hopefully ETG Brawlers can get back on their bike, go up that hill, find what has gotten them into such a strong point. Of course, go on from there. That's the thing, we see the members of INS, they're overlooking Fnatic and Megastar. It's really nice in terms of they're just outside Paradise Resort. They have plenty of space to move around them. I worry about Megastars.
Yeah, it's going to be very awkward for them as well, as they have given up terrain just outside of Hatin there across the bridge, instead going southward, trying to get inside the center of the circle. As we said, though, look at the cluster of teams here right in the middle.
Yeah, and one thing to note is that Elementrix are the only team so far to make the conscious call to go on to that northwest island. Let's see if it works out.
Oh, final boss. Just taken out like that.
Told you Megastars were going to find themselves in trouble. They weren't really dealing too much with Fnatic, and Fnatic weren't being super aggressive. And now with the third party, so to speak, by INS, Megastars down to 3 players.
Yeah, just like that immediately. And INS actually may try and take advantage of that. They know that Megastars are going to be down 1 player. They have the high ground. They have the man advantage as well. However, this early on, potentially, it's not worth running the risk.
No, it's not. And that's something that can easily be taken hold of in terms of a thought process. Play a little bit safer, be careful, not be passive, but calculated with your shots. Calculated with your movements and how you look to execute. And of course, try to confirm a knockdown and a kill. So Fnatic